we've talked multiple times Mountain West play about just not 40 minutes of good basketball. That's been the thing. UNLV, that finally happened. There really wasn't a weakness. Just how did that feel to finally see the execution in every area?
Well, I mean, actually what occurred was after the New Mexico game, we actually sat and watched film with the team. And like the theme of the film was certain things can't happen. And a lot of it was just sort of, interior defense, loose balls, offensive rebounding. Like these things can't happen because anything that we're doing technically per se, X and O wise, to try to help our defense and help our offense, well, it doesn't really matter because that's the game. That's where winning the game comes from, all those things. When you don't let those things happen and then you do make subtle changes, well, then all of a sudden you find those changes working. So as we did that was the night before Vegas. We went out and we played a really good game. Now, the thing that happened in that game was, probably in some extent, to a large extent, UNLV helped us as the game went along. We kept it on them. We kept doing what we were doing, and they never really seemed to kick in. Doesn't happen much in the Mountain West. What the Mountain West comes down to, the teams that are good in this league, they know how to win close games. Every game's a close game by and large. I don't care what it is. It's crazy close games, overtime games, crazy close games. Wyoming, college, it's just crazy. And that's called college basketball. You see it on TV every night. And in this league, the good teams win close games. And that's what we got to learn, And I think, that's what showed up. So then we get to game 2 of the road trip. And really what occurred was Fresno wasn't helping us. They played really well. And as they're not helping us, well, now you're in a close game, which you expect to be in and on the road. Like first you got to be in it. And then what occurred was some of those same things that we say, like, hey, those things can't happen. And down 3, up 1, down 6, down 6, down 6. Those things occurred at that moment in time. And can't win a close game that way. And that's really what, after these 2 games, like after Vegas, I said okay, guys, we're 1-0 since watching this film. All right, well, now we're 1-1, and guess what today's film is going to be about? It's going to be about, look, can't happen, right? You got to learn how to win close games. That's how you win close games. That's our challenge, So I think we've shown we can play, Some people say, like Rita say, we could have been 2 and 3, then we would have been 3 and 3. Well, guess what? You're not. What you are is the same human beings. And you're the same people, and now you got to learn from what we're going through right now, and now we're 1-1 since that, and we'll see what happens when we play tomorrow against Wyoming. But I know that's what the game is. That is the game in and of itself, and we have to continue to learn that and get better in those situations.
What do you think are some of the things that have plagued you guys in close games this year?
Well, I think what it comes down to, I'll just tell you exactly what it is. I don't have to think about it. I know what it is, and what it is, we're down 4. At Nevada with the ball, turnover, right? They go down and take advantage of it. It's like these 3 possession swings is all basketball is. It's called momentum. And Fresno, right? Down 3, turnover, right? Get a stop. They get an offensive rebound, put it back in. We go down, turnover. That leads to transition plus them. They went plus. They're +3. When it was a 3-point game, it's now a 8-point game again. Happened 4 straight times. We then cut it to 6, 60-54, 67-61, and 69-63. And each time, that's exactly what occurred. So that's what we got to get better at. You got to know, and that's called being in the game. It's called knowing you're in a road game. It's called, to what you started with, playing 40 minutes. And it's called knowing that and not having it bother you and not having anything discourage you because you're in a game on the road and you're down 3, you're in a game down 6 and you got the ball or you stop them. That's called college basketball. That's called learning how to win that game. That's called every single game. And that's what we, like I said, that's what we have to continue to learn, get better at, and sort of embrace. Like I said, what are you getting discouraged for? You're down 6. It's your ball. You're down 6. You just stopped them. I got an idea. You got to be so invested now. You got to have such energy now because you have the game sort of the way that you want it when you go on the road. We're not winning by 32 points. You know what I mean? We're not going to win by 32. right? You got to learn how to win by 2. You got to learn how to win by 6, 4. You got to learn how to win that game when you're down by 3 and 4. And that's sort of what we're going through, and we're going to keep fighting that fight and keep teaching those concepts and keep seeing those things so that the team can sort of embrace those things that need to be done and at those moments in time.
Luke Carney was fantastic in the UNLV game. Do you see his role kind of expanding a little bit more?
Well, I mean, there's no question he needs to continue to, just learn, play. He's going to get in. He's going to keep getting in. Bo, again, Bo can't play all those minutes. I think as Bo plays all those minutes, especially when you play against this, these big, 13 was huge, 35 is huge, over the course of 40 minutes, that wears on you a little bit. So Luke's role is crucial. And really, if you just think about it, okay, we lost Corbin. And you know what? We need somebody who can spell Bo, who's going to provide something to us. Corbin provided what he provided in terms of like a different type of person in there. Luke's almost, is very similar to Bo, but he's got to do it. And thing is, he's got to go out there every game, and he's got to figure out how to be consistent every game. But if he can do that, that's what we need. Obviously, he did it. He's played more and more. We need solid 10 to 14 minutes out of him. And is he going to be able to do that, as we keep going forward?
Confidence level. This is obviously a young team. Do you feel like they got more confident after the UNLV win? Like, hey, we can have a complete performance?
Yeah, you know what? I honestly don't question our guys' confidence. You know what I mean? I watch us play, even within the context of a game. Okay, context of that game, boy, oh boy, are we confident. I watch us in the context of the Fresno game, right? Going back and forth, we're making shots. We got the lead. They take the lead. We take the lead back. They go on an 8-0 run, which teams do, and that's to my point about, it's not really confidence. It's knowing and embracing what goes into winning. And we show that we come back again. That they get throw in 2 threes. We turn, okay, we make it 50-47 again. We stop them. We come back when they go up 11 and we make it 67-61 again. We make it 69-63 again, and we stop them. So I think our guys know that they're going to do those things. I know they feel strongly and have the experience of doing that. What we don't have is at those moments that, well, now you got to do it now. And again, that's the whole concept. And you guys watch the games. I mean, the Wyoming-Colorado State game's a ridiculous example of this, but the game's never over. The game's always up for grabs. It doesn't matter. It's like you got to have them. Like I said earlier, you can't get discouraged. The game's going on. You're down 3 on the road. What do you want? That's what you want. You're down 6 on the road. You want that. That's what you played to this point for. So you got to embrace it at that moment. And, I think, again, there might be a little bit of youth in that regard, just in terms of the level that this program's done that, the level that these individual guys have done that, may not be at the same level as a lot of the teams in terms of experience that we're competing against have done it. And we got to overcome that. So, but I don't doubt our guys' confidence in terms of their collective ability to say, we're in this game, to play in this game, to win this game, but actually doing the details at those moments in time, we have to keep getting better at it.
And you just kind of mentioned kind of the league, a lot of 5-year, 6-year guys in this league. Do you feel like this experience, playing these close games and kind of failing, can kind of be beneficial kind of the second half of the year? Hey, learn from your mistakes. Hey, we are close in these games. Do you feel like y'all are close?
Yeah, I think that there's times I watch us play and I'm like, geez, this is we got the makings of what could be a good team. What we don't have is that kind of experience. What we don't have is that kind of experience over and over and over again, and then meeting with success in those environments, at those moments in time. So, what we have to have is, an unbelievable, you use the word, learn from your experience. If you don't learn from your experience, like I said this before, that's just called having an experience. Well, who cares if you had an experience? It's about learning from putting your experience to use. And when that means, oh, that happened, we're going to want, okay, we're not allowing that to happen next time. We are going to do this next time. Then you're using your experience, and that's what we got to keep doing, because we got guys that, again, I said this to Ethan Taylor 2 weeks ago. I'm saying it to him again today. Listen, we're doing this because you're going to be in this situation again. I'm framing it. You are going to be in this situation again, so you have to learn from this situation and know next time this is what I'm doing and I'm not doing that. And then it becomes a collective thing. So, like I said, we're 1-1 since we did that. We're going to watch today, and we got a game against Wyoming tomorrow, and it's one game, and how are we going to play? And what are we going to see in regards to what we're talking about right now in terms of improvement in that area?
When you saw what Wyoming did against CSU, did you say, oh, great, we got them next?
Well, what I say all the time is Fresno's sitting there waiting at home for the entire week for us as we're on the road for 6 straight days, as we then get to come home and have one day to get ready, because you can't practice yesterday because you can't get back from Fresno. I don't know if you guys know that. As Wyoming is sitting there having played a home game and been home for 5 days, having that experience. So, but you can't concern yourself with that stuff. You know what I mean? What, you just make jokes about it. That's what you do. Right. But, what I expect from Wyoming is again, I expect the same every game. And again, I think it's continued learning from our players to expect the same every game. Every game's the same. We have to be the same every game. And the more you put those two things together, then the more you learn how to produce the performance you want. And we all know the performance that every one of our guys wants. We all know in those moments what they want. Wanting it doesn't produce it. Knowing the things that go into producing it and not really caring about wanting. Wanting doesn't really get you much in life. What you find is it actually gets you not getting what you want, right? Doing and learning is what gets you what you want in life. And hopefully our guys, are going to stick to the task and get stronger as we go through the season, because that's what we're going to have to do to learn from our experience and make it become positive for us.
You mentioned a couple of times that you have to point out to the guys that you want to be in a situation where you're only down 3 with 2 minutes to go. Do you find that, because you've coached for a number of years now, and this isn't a knock on today's player, but do you find that today's player has a hard time not realizing that success is around the corner?
Yeah, I do think there is an element of today, I used the word sort of discouraged earlier, or like, you're being affected. You're being affected. Something's bothering you. Well, you're playing college basketball and you can never get bothered. That's really what it comes down to. You're down 3, you're down 4, you're down 5. You got to learn how to turn that into an advantage for you, and you do it by knowing the game's 40 minutes. It's 40 minutes. That's what it is. So within that 40 minutes, nothing can bother you. You can't get discouraged. You can't be, oh, man, what? No, that's what happens in basketball. And I do think that's, for this age group, that's actually what we're teaching. That is what we're actually teaching. That's what the game, that's the actual game that's being played. Who's not going to get bothered? In these 40 minutes, who's not going to get bothered, right? It's the team that doesn't get bothered, that in those moments, well, you know what? They come through because nothing's bothering them. They're playing. They're invested. They've embraced the experience, right? If something's bothering you, if you're discouraged, you're not embracing anything. You know what I mean? And that's, again, that is what this is all about. That's what we're going to continue to try to teach and learn from that perspective of, yeah, that means you're doing well. I mean, you're on the road in college basketball in front of, 10,000 people. You're down 3? Good. You're doing well. Use it to your advantage. Now, you got to have a certain sort of way of thinking, a certain mindset to be able to do that.
So callous, so to speak. They need that callous.
Yeah. You just got to know. I mean, like I said, the only way I know how to put it is learning that that's actually what the game is. The game is that the score, or did you just make a 3? Did you just throw the ball away? That can't affect you. It's like having no memory but remembering, right? I mean, that's what you got. You got to have no memory, but I remember everything. And I use those things I remember to fuel me, to help me get better, right, the next time. But I'm not letting it bother me. And that, again, does it start with one person? Does it then get to 2? Right? But it's got to start with 1 and 2 to get to be a collective thing, because in this game, it's got to be a collective thing with 5 guys and a whole team.
do you find yourself being more of a psychologist than you were maybe even 10, 15 years
Well, there's
ago?
no question. I mean, there's no question. And I'd like to think that people have seen it on the sidelines. It certainly is true on the road. That my demeanor is definitely changed in that regard. And part of it is okay, this is what these guys need, and they need to know that, okay, it's a 40-minute game. Whatever happened, well, it doesn't mean I don't, get upset about lack of execution, but it's like overarching over the whole thing. It's a 40-minute experience of where, okay, guys, you got to stay in this thing for 40 minutes. And that is a big part of it. It's making sure that they can get themselves to that point, and that is part of, what I got to do so that these juniors can be better as seniors, so that these sophomores can be better as juniors, these freshmen can move forward, because that's the thing. Those are the things that help you move forward. If you don't do those things, you're stuck. You're stuck, and that's really what we're talking about right now. To sort of move us forward, we got to really embrace these things, because these are the things that keep you sort of stuck in the same place.